Hey everybody, Dr. Dave Marquis here, and I had a quick brain dump that I wanted to provide you on the topic of anxiety. Many times I'll see that on a patient's intake packet, and I'll recognize that you know what, this individual probably is not feeling very comfortable in their own skin. And I start to talk to them about that, and it's not easy to get that component out to really understand how to contextualize this individual's type of anxiety or how they got there. But there are some commonalities, and some things that I find that are common with individuals are the fact that many of them are not sleeping well. Now, I've done a whole nother video on sleep, and I would encourage you to watch that, but that is a key component of it. But here's the catch-22. Sometimes they're not sleeping because they can't turn their mind off because they're anxious, and it sets up this vicious cycle. So one of the things that I like to look at for an individual who's dealing with anxiety has to do with the neurotransmitter side, where we want to see, okay, do you actually have the capacity to make GABA, dopamine, and serotonin? It has a lot to do with an individual's flora, has a lot to do with their genetics and how they're using certain micronutrients, particularly the B1, 2, and 3 family that actually pushes some of the monoamine groups that turn into GABA, dopamine, and serotonin. It has a lot to do with how an individual breathes. And many times these same patients, I'll look at their O2 saturation and they got tons of oxygen. They're like 98%, but they're perfusing like 1 to 2%. You know, the brain needs 25% of the oxygen that we breathe in. And if they're only able to perfuse, that means getting it into the cell 1 to 2%. You know, they're 30 to 15 times too low in terms of O2 assimilation just at rest. That'll make an anxious person more anxious. Matter of fact, it's correlated in more than 90% of the cases, low O2 perfusion. So now we've got two different things. We've got mismanagement of cortisol, we've got mismanagement of O2. Well, these people oftentimes live in that pattern so frequently for so long that they neurologically get good at doing bad things. And so their brain, out of the 5 different frequencies that it produces, tends to live over here in beta land. Beta spindles make people anxious. Now, healthy beta wave activity is okay. It's what we're doing. It's what I'm doing right now with animated hands and talking. But if you feel scattered in the brain, where you can't coherently articulate something and your thoughts are bouncing all around the room like a ping pong ball, well, that's an individual who is not self-regulating their beta wave activity. They may not have adequate neurotransmitters, or they might be low on O2. So what do you do about all this? Well, you've probably reached for the rhodiola and the ashwagandha and the phosphatidylserine and all the different supplements. You've probably took baths in lavender. You've probably gone to the spa and done meditation. And I'm not saying any of that's bad. Those are all great things. But if you're still dealing with anxiety and you're about to reach for the pharmaceuticals in the benzodiazepine category, you know, Ativans and Xanaxes, I would encourage you to take the time to actually get evaluated and look at those different categories that I was just talking about, because there's a solution. And if you can find that solution and apply those principles appropriately and turn your anxiety off and start to get to sleep, you see how you might start to produce a positive feedback loop? That's what I would encourage you to do. Stop treating yourself. Allow a knowledgeable functional medicine practitioner to take the time to sit down with you and properly evaluate your situation and find out what roads led you to where you're at, so that you could choose the path to lead yourself back out of that and find that sense of calmness, allowing that inner voice to work again, and allowing your body to get the rest that it needs. Healing is possible for all of us. We just need to find our uniqueness and allow that to emerge. I look forward to helping you. Be well.